Oh, the McRipoff is on again, as also McDonald's gets some horrible news on foot traffic. No matter what they've done, they keep trying to lie to their customers. They keep trying to lie to the American people and say, well, look at all this stuff we're doing to make our garbage food more affordable. Again, look, I had McDonald's breakfast 2 weeks ago. I think McDonald's breakfast is the best fast food breakfast, period, at least available around me. I'm not above eating McDonald's. Look at me. All right. So I'm not shaming anybody who eats at McDonald's. But I am saying that $9 for an Egg McMuffin meal is insane. All right. They keep trying to say, oh, well, we're making stuff more affordable. We're making stuff. Well, now they've made a crazy change that is weird. And they're blaming it on the penny shortage, which doesn't make any sense to me because hardly anybody pays in cash anymore. So to me, I think it's a weird scam. But well, let's look at this two-piece story here. McDonald's payment change confuses customers who may be paying more for a meal, not sure how this is legal. The fast food chain is allegedly start rounding up the prices of certain meals, according to customers online who claim they caught a whiff of the plan. Well, I saw a sign posted about this. I wonder if here it is. Okay, so we have the sign. We'll look at that in a second. Per the Sun, a Reddit user shared a memo that was put out outside their franchise location, notifying customers that due to the U.S. Treasury halting production of the pennies, which is true, the chain will now be rounding change to the nearest 5 cents. Now, it cost America about 2 cents to make every penny. So getting rid of pennies makes sense. And if you're going to get rid of pennies, you're going to have to do some level of rounding. I don't know if other gas stations did this or even still do this, but I remember like there was a time when Fleet and Farm, when they used to have the cheapest gas around. I don't know if you even have Fleet Farms around by you. They're not gas stations, but they happen to sell gas. They would always have gas listed at like $1.99 and 9/10 of a cent or 8/10 of a cent. So that it was really $2 because of course they had to round it up because you couldn't pay with 9/10 of a penny. That was insane, right? It was just a scam. This is that. The U.S. Mint has placed its final order of penny blinks and will cease production of the coin when those run out by early next year, forcing companies to adopt the change. Menu prices, of course, will stay the same, but customers' change will be rounded depending on the cost of the meal. If the amount of the change owes 1 or 2 cents, it will be rounded down to 0 cents. If the cents is 3 or 4, then it'll be rounded up to a nickel. 6 or 7 will be rounded back down to 5 cents. Now, here's the thing. This is probably when you think about it, it's like, well, what the heck do you do, right? Like, what the heck do you do without pennies? Well, I don't want to support a cashless society, even though I'm going to guess that close to 95% of McDonald's orders are paid for with credit cards. So I can't support that. Do I support us making pennies still? I guess that's the only fair option to do, is that we maybe still make pennies. Here's a sign that is confusing everybody. Menu prices will remain unchanged for now. Only your change will be rounded. So if you get, a dollar, let's say you get $1.51 back, that means you get $1.50. If you get $1.52 and change, you get $1.50. If you get $1.53 and change, you get $1.55 back. $1.54, you get $1.55 back. Does that make sense? Same thing as like if you get $1.56 back, you get $1.55 back. If you get $1.57, it goes back down to $1.55. If it's 8 or 9, it goes up to the next 10 cents. This is probably the best you can do. But here's the problem. They're just going to change their menu prices to make sure that everything ends, that all the change is like $1.52. So they can make an extra 2 cents on every order. Like that's how this is going to happen. You're going to find that a shocking number of order combinations at McDonald's suddenly come to $1.52 or $1.57 in change. The dollar doesn't really matter, but the change does. You're going to find a shocking number of McDonald's orders conveniently start ending in 57, 0.7 or 0.8 cents. That's what's going to happen ultimately. Like that's how this is going to shake out. So that's why I'm like, well, is it the best of a kind of a weird situation? I don't know. But I know that they're going to take advantage of it. I know that every major retailer is going to take advantage of this. This says, so McDonald's lovers respond to the news. So they take from some and give to others, or do they just change their menu to always round down? Why wouldn't they do that? Right? Just make sure everything basically always rounds down. Not sure how this is legal because a penny owed is still a penny owed, pointed out. Is there really a need for this? There's still tons of pennies in circulation. Another said, nope, give me my exact change, someone demanded. Why don't they just change the prices? This one's confusing. Exactly. Why wouldn't you just say all orders that are $1.52 are just $1.50, or end on 50? They should just adjust the price instead of stealing a couple cents at a time from one customer and returning it to the next. Class action lawsuit against round downs, literally stealing, another claimed. Meanwhile, non-American customers are pointing out that this has been going on at their local McDonald's for some time. They do this in Canada, somebody said. Well, another added, it's confusing for the first few months, and you kind of just forget about it. It's been like this in Australia for decades. Well, I mean, this is the problem with the penny issue. But what it does now is when you look, if you make 100 sales a month, skimming a penny or two off each sale isn't going to make a big deal. But let's just look at about how many sales does McDonald's make a day, right? Total daily sales are 280 million. How many, not customers, how about our sales? How about let's just customers? How many customers per day? 70 million customers a day. Okay. If you scam 2 cents off every one of those 70 million every day, okay, it adds up. It's a lot of money, right? Like, why wouldn't you let's just say, 70 million, okay, times 30, which is per month, that's 2.1 billion, okay? And you scam us 2 cents off every one, that's an extra $42 million in revenue per month. $42 million in revenue per month on round downs, right? Wouldn't you just set your menu to have, you would figure out, hey, what are the top 20 combinations that we have? Let's fiddle with the prices so that the round down, they end in a round down. And now we make an extra 40 million a month, right? 40, 50 million extra per month. That's exactly what I would do. Why wouldn't everybody do that? Now you're a grocery store and you're doing 50 million transactions a day. How about Walmart? Right? How about Walmart? Walmart serves 270 million a week. So that's over $1 billion a month. So you're talking, now they can really screw with people, and now they can be making 100 million extra per month. This is a huge problem. On top of already, McDonald's has a big customer problem on their hands. McDonald's is one of the most popular restaurants in the world, but the company has been witnessing a troubling shift in customer behavior lately as the economy strains many of its customers, forcing them to reduce their visit. I wouldn't blame the economy. How about $9 Big Macs or $9? Remember, like a sausage, egg, and cheese bagel was $8.75. That's not even the meal, my brothers. The Egg McMuffin is $7.75. I could make 20 Egg McMuffins for $8. You know what I mean? Why don't you? Well, you're right. Well, I won't, the only reason I ate an Egg McMuffin last week is because my wife was at the hospital. All right. And we were starving. And it was the only thing that was open at 5 a.m. So they got me that one time. And if you look at this, this says, when I went in recently, a 6-piece McNugget and a small Sprite and a small fry cost me $8. Crazy expensive? No. Yes, it is. A 6-piece nugget and a small fry is not even a meal. That's not enough food for a full-grown adult. Maybe my wife, maybe women, a 6-piece nugget and a small fry is a meal for you, but that's not enough meal for most people. And who gets a small drink? Nobody. Anyway, it's still not uncommon to go to McDonald's to see a value meal over $10, making the cost of lunch or dinner for a small family feel more like a casual dining price than anything else. Unfortunately, things do not appear to be getting better. The latest inflation data from the Bureau of Statistics say the CPI index shows that food away from home prices increased 3.7% in September year over year. You see this, 2024, 4.5%, 2023, 5.8%, 2022, 7.7%. Well, this is all Biden economy, right? With prices rising, people are turning it off. McDonald's has also seen a massive slump in customer visits. McDonald's foot traffic declined 3.5% overall in the third quarter, according to a recent report from Placer AI. But digging into the data, the numbers are even more concerning. New store openings partially offset that number. If you remove those locations from the equation, the traffic to the stores open last year slipped a full 4%. That's massive. The quick service category is under pressure from multiple fronts. Persistent inflation, wrong. Inflation's fine. Shifting consumer behavior, true. Value menu fatigue, it's not fatigue, it's high price fatigue and no value fatigue. And an even growing adoption of weight loss drugs, which are dampening demand for food consumed away from home. So they're blaming Ozempic. We've got lower income consumers that remain under pressure. By the way, the overall majority of people that eat at McDonald's are middle to low class. Middle class people can't afford $1,500 a month for Ozempic. People who have a significant amount of disposable income can afford Ozempic, right? You see a lot of rich people suddenly losing 50 pounds in 3 months. McDonald's is greeting their way out of it, and what a convenient time to start this rounding scam, which I know it looks on the face like they're doing the best they can with a bad situation, but I don't think that's it. I think they're going to change their prices and they're going to rake in the tens of millions of dollars more per day. That's what's going to happen. So yeah, consumers, we don't have to deal with pennies anymore, but guess what? We're getting screwed anyway. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.